now. Okay, so please show your face in front of the camera. And at the end of the class, I'd like you to put your like or unlike whatever light, because my boss say must put the light there. So just show your light later on. So guys, I only see Benny's face. Huh? I did not see Yichen, Ryan's, Ray Chen, and Howry's, please. Can you show me your face? Thank you, Yichen. Hi. Okay. Thanks. Who else? Ryan. Thank you. Howry. Thank you. Ray Chen. It's the best if you all can on your camera permanently. Yeah. So easier for me also. So when I ask that, at least I can see your expression, so I know I'm not talking to the air, or I'm not talking alone to Benny. Okay. Now, to start off with, I just like to ask, I believe all of you have taken back your WA. So Howry, how was your test for your history test? No, at least you just say hi, this word, Rachel. You just say hi would do. So at least your voice is there. Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks. Okay, thanks, Richard. Because that last lesson you have the camera, but next few weeks, after during your or during not after during your 1 week holiday, if you can, please get the camera ready, because I need you all to showcase me your answer sheet. I will be having a small short quiz about Stalin, TOB, and LN if possible. Okay. So let's go through. Howry, how was your test so far for history? Do you pass? Do you get back your paper? Thank you, Howry. No problem. Ryan, how about Ryan? That's very good, huh? Okay, so how was it, Ryan, your paper? Thank you, Ryan. How about Yichen? What is your score? And Ray Chen? Benny, how was your test? Do you have any tests? Now, Benny? Later, I'm going to go through your homework. Okay, thanks, Yichen. No problem. Ray Chen, eh? Ray Chen, how is it?
They haven't give back.
It was very
So long,
average.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about, thanks, Ray Chen. How about Benny? Have you got back your test paper?
No, but then from my perspective, I think it's quite average lah.
Sorry, I
And then
can't hear
I
you.
have a feeling I will get average marks.
Average mark. Okay. So should be okay lah. Okay, let me put, I think there's some speakers. Should be okay, huh? Okay, good. Now let's go through Benny's essay. Just now I went through my goddaughter, who is set for also. She was shocked to see your answer, Benny. I said, no. This is IP students essay, different from Express. So some of you, if you look at the answer, you might find it, 是这样写的咩？好像我跟他的写法不一样。I expect the other 4 to hand in the homework. That one is important, because let me share my slides with all of you first. Okay, like just to go through with all of you first. Okay. Today's lesson, we have done the rise of Stalin, what causes, what make him rise to the power. And then we are going to continue to talk about the economic policy, and then how the impact of the 3 things. So my goddaughter was asking how to memorize all these facts. I will explain to you how to do that. Please take your piece of paper and get ready to write. Okay, then we're going to go through the homeworks. Thank you, Benny. Thank you very much. 我很久没有改这样的作文了，做老师了。Okay, just a quick one, Benny. How long do you take to write the essay?
I never record the time, but then I think
Estimate.
both of them, I think I took like 1 hour 30 minutes because I was lazy.
No. Stop it. I don't hear the word lazy. Okay, you're not lazy. All of you here are not lazy. I don't hear the L word. The lazy, lying, lack of motivation, lying around like 守株待兔 or lack of motivation. I don't want to hear the L effect. Sorry. Okay, your handing homework is considered you are already motivated. I think I need to ask you how long you spend the time, because at the end of the day, you guys are going to sit for exam. Therefore, I need to help you to estimate the time management. Okay, unfortunately, we are doing online. I cannot just sit there for 1.5 hours looking at your face on the camera and see you writing. 对吗? Unless you are in my class, like some students come to my class for tuition. I have a classroom, I can see them writing. That's a different story. But because online, from now on, can you please kind enough to write the start time and the end time? So estimate how long you can write. The best is you write it. If not, if you want to type it, it's also fine. So Benny, those notes that you have taken to put in for studying the two essay, is it your own notes plus the school notes as well?
It, of course, there are like school notes, but then I also search up a bit on Wikipedia.
So how can you say you're lazy? You're motivated. If you are not motivated to search for your school notes and Wikipedia or whatever, dear, or Google, you will just hand in a wishy-washy, a lousy essay to me. Correct or not? Okay. So Benny, well done. So I want to see more of this essay. 我很久没有改，自从我改了我的那个 Lesson8Sec3 的歌的 paper 到现在，我还没有看到这么有水准的 essay. But of course, need to fine tune. Okay, right. So, of course, 我很久也没有看到瑞成 send hand in homework to me already. Maybe you all are busy because of the WA. Okay, so from now on, I'm going to be like a broken record, keep repeating every lesson, the same old thing, whether you like it or not. But I still have to mention, because I'm helping all my Set4 students to prepare for their exam. So the Set3 student, you have to bear with Uncle Raymond. So I'm going to say same thing. As of 1st of March, this is a topic I'm going to heavily cover, whether you like it or not. Okay, so now we are talking about studying. The next lesson, I might jump to Korean War or Cuba CMC missile. Okay, things like that. So we are touched on TOV. Okay, so we are going to go through these two questions. Then later on, we're going to do collectivizations as well, right? So without further ado, I'm going to go through Benny's essay. So where is my Benny essay? Where is my, okay, there you are. Okay, Benny, ready? Benny, did you receive your essay from the Google Classroom?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Okay, good.
And then I also have some idea on how to edit it already. Yeah.
Good. If you want to do some amendments and hand it to Uncle Raymond's, you're most welcome. That goes the same for those of you who are interested to continue to improve your essay. Okay, Benny, because you can hear my voice, I'm not very good. Can you just read the whole thing? Then I will help to emphasize. Okay, Ken, Stalin rise to power.
Stalin's rise to power. Stalin's rise to power, fame, and
Reverence.
can't spell that word.
Reverence.
Rise to power and fame could be argued as a product of his own intellect and ability. However, a large amount of luck was probably also used in his ascent. Firstly, Stalin turned to communism at a young age, although it was not popular at the time as it was probably regarded as too radical. The fact that he sustained this belief within the passage of time is a miracle, especially when combined with the fact that he was captured and imprisoned 8 times due to activity
As it was recorded.
What is recorded. That he still joined the October Revolution and played a part despite all this is another testament to the surprising accuracy and effectiveness of his choices without the necessary hindsight.
Well, okay, stop. Your reading is very good. Of course, because of reading, you want to read fast is very good. Okay, you have a good voice. Remember your tonality. For English purpose, so you have to slow down a bit, but it's very good. Okay, let me explain the first paragraph, what Benny has written. Thumbs up for the 4 of you. First time you see this kind of essay, right? You will not write this kind of essay in your real essay as per se. Okay, right? First time we're reading this, my goddaughter will say, are you sure we're going to write this kind of essay for my 8 marks question? No, this is definitely not for express or NA students essay. Okay, IP essay is to more in depth. So you see the choice of words, reverence towards Lenin. Okay, the word reverence, as stated there, is a deep respect someone or some things regarded with deep respect. So 他很会利用那个情形 the situation that plays a very important part for him to use his own intellectual and ability. How he do it? So probably it's just like what our dear Benny has mentioned, using the accent to eliminate his rival. So when he rise to power, along the way, he start to eliminate his rival like Trotsky and some of his Communist Party members inside there. Then firstly, I like the way he said that. Firstly, the ideology he had chosen. Now, it's just like Stalin turned to communism at a young age. Who the hell would know that at that time, whether is it communism, capitalism, fascism, militarisms, or socialisms, or whatever, or what they call Nazism. We don't know. Just like the three of you, right? Minus Benny. Benny will not go to poly now because you are going to IP. Like for Yi Chen and Ray Chen, for example, next year you're choosing a course. Maybe let's use for example for poly, for simplicity. Like you're going for poly. Let's say you choose your course for option A. Do you think that this course is good? But your daddy, mommy say, Benny, Ray Chen and Yi Chen, I think course B is suitable for you. Then you can't consult Uncle Raymond and say, Uncle Raymond, which course is better? Then Uncle Raymond says, course C will be better for you. So it's something like that when Stalin was choosing which ideologies to follow. And fair enough, I think he was being inspired by Lenin. At the same time, he was get sick and tired of Nicholas the Tsar. So he chose communism. At the time, that is the best ideologies that use. So for your two who next year want to choose a course, maybe you think course A is suitable for you in poly. But after you graduated already, then you might think that, oh my goodness, actually your diploma in A is not suitable in the real world, for example. Then maybe your parents or Uncle Raymond will say, see, Ray Chen or Yi Chen, I told you already, right? Don't take this course. You don't believe me. You see, this is the things that, you can't find a job. But what if you happen to choose the A course correctly, and then the B and C is not what is ideal? So this is something like it's a sheer luck at times. Okay, at times that the things that you choose might be like just like, can I use the word like stock market? You might choose a stock market that suddenly boom, you earn a lot, or choose a stock market suddenly crash. So this is what Benny has mentioned, that okay, it's just a miracle that he chose the cause, and then at the same time he joined the October revolutions. That is where it emphasized that the involvement. That is why he is, through this October revolution, he played a part to show that he is interested in communism. At the same time, he has a passion in this ideology. At the same time, he showed people that he is also a vital person who transformed USSR. So this is a testament to surprise others, as well as the choice that he made. So, and eventually his profile showed his capability and ability. Some of you, I know, Yi Chen and Ray Chen, thumbs up if you can, that you're going to do your EAE soon, right? To go for poly, right? So this is where you need your profile and your testaments and your testimony, to go in and showcase why you should get into this course. So same thing, what Benny has done a good job is that because he never mentioned about Trotsky, he's mentioning that he's looking at the different angle that Stalin used communism as his platform to be making popular, by hoping that one day through this communism, he will shine and rise into power, which we know in our contextual knowledge that he did successful. Okay, so thank you so much. Let's move on. Benny, Adolphe.
Although one could argue that the above is only a display of his intelligence and foresight, the fact that he was inducted into the party cannot be explained as such.
Sorry, when you say cannot be explained by such, 那个 by such 是什么意思？记住哦。Yes.
Cannot be explained
by
his intellect.
Yeah, something like that. 因为 it's like by such, the such 就是很模糊 very vague. What you mean by such, like what things?
His organizative ability and blah blah blah.
写下来，对，写下来哈，记住，写在你那张纸那边。
Okay.
Okay. 记住啊，因为你 by such you are telling the examiner， 哎，你去选啊，你觉得哪一个适合你自己 fill in the blank， 所以不要这样写哈 by such 啊。Okay, 你 can you imagine when the essay is so good, then suddenly you put this one, you piss off people that you are putting the you are not sure about what it is. Carry on. Out of
Out of the millions of luminaries and revolutionaries in the time period, how was he chosen?
very good. Stop there. Stop there. Very good. 你说在这么多混乱中 so many revolutionary, there are so many capable leader and hero. Why Stalin? Why must be Stalin? So this is a very high level questions. Just like of so many people that can lead Singapore, why Lee Kuan Yew? Why not whoever? Okay, carry on. At that time,
he was actually considered dull, and hence the only reason for him being inducted is luck. Please cross out the extreme. When several arbitrary factors somehow collide to give a surprising result.
okay, stop. Good. I think nothing wrong to cross out with that is extreme luck because I ever read Stalin one of the book that he was not very popular. He doesn't like to mix around. He's all by himself. Sometimes he's like scheming， 就是他是暗地里在策谋，在 plan how to get rid of people. So he's actually monitoring people's behavior. So this kind of people is very dangerous, like very risky. Like 我会怕。Okay, because of this type of people, you never know what is he thinking, what is he next step. So consider down, I would say is like he's more into the introverts, like keeping to himself, but maybe he's having a write down in your paper, is having a hidden agenda, is planning a scheme how to get rid of his rival and how to make himself to be popular. Sorry, and how to make himself that he's able to get close to Lenin. Thank you. Carry on, please. Hence luck. Okay, let me finish it.
Hence luck has its own part to play in Stalin's rise. You're
Okay.
welcome.
So when I put that when several arbitrary factors, so please state your evidence here. So when you say arbitrary factors, it's good words to be used. What kind of factors that contribute him? One of the reason is Trotsky. One of the reason that he is able to get Trotsky because it's a testament, and there are a few reasons. Okay, so this is the one here. Okay, guys, I hope the other four you have seen what is IP structures of essay looks like. Carry on, Benny, if you don't mind. It was mostly.
Was Stalin's rule a disaster? It was mostly a disaster, and not much of an actual improvement could be said for the inhabitants.
Stop there. When you got this, could be said for the inhabitants. I like this word. No? Is your own or your textbook or where? Can you remember?
It's my own, and I also want to say that I kind of just slack down on the language side. I just write out the thing blankly. I just write out the thing as it is. I didn't put in the fancy
This
word.
is what Uncle Raymond want to see my history student. 虽然历史是死背的、死读的、死抄的 we have to use our own creative to make this down history into more creative, more juicy, and more readable, and something that is like, you know, when as an examiner you look at your Benny's essay and compare to your classmate essay, I will just sit out and open my eyes to read the essay more interestingly. So it could be safe for the inhabitants. You can, Benny, can you write this? Could be safe for the inhabitants of the Soviet Union's citizens. Okay, right now, so well done. And I like the way you write this. Can all of you take note for now on? But for some of the questions for the 12 marks, you can say firstly and secondly, but that depends because IP students usually write more than 2 paragraphs. Okay, so I think he's been drilled by his teacher to write firstly, secondly, which is by right perfectly correct. Because Benny, when you go to A level or this, okay, Uncle Raymond was also last time trained by doing this firstly, secondly, thirdly. It's very important because all the point structures, the factors contribute to every level of the marks. So continue to write this in this way, okay? Carry on, firstly.
Firstly, many goals were unrealistic. For example, the 5-year plans were increasingly impossible, and many yields were required to increase exponentially. To gain the picture, we may look at the target for coal.
350,000, I think. Yeah. Is it 3.5 million? Okay, now. Okay, never mind. All these figures are until 1937.
Okay.
Were you no okay?
Out to make them look bigger.
It's okay, it's okay. I asked my goddaughter, will you be able to remember this figure in your exam and put it down? If you put wrongly, that's good luck to you, no. So she told me yes. So to me is you can, if you cannot remember the figure, you just put there a few thousand tons will do, okay? A few thousand tons. Okay, like if you're not sure, then you just put 35 million tons, 64 million tons, this kind of things, okay, or 128 million tons. But why you see there's 1927, 1932 to 1937, there is a gradual increase of coal. So this shows that there is an exponentially, like in maths, exponentially means, to me, maths exponentially means increase. But to a history person or to a social study, exponentially can be a good and bad effect. If I were to say exponentially increase in the baby boomer in social study means good lah, the population increase. But if I say exponentially increase is more foreigners coming to Singapore, some people might say it's no good lah. So this exponentially, just like in Hitler, for example, there are too many Jews taking out the jobs. So end up the Germans would not have a job. So may not be good lah. Okay, so be careful of this. So it's a very good word to use, guys. So take note. Anyway, Benny essay is inside Google Classroom. Some of the double tick, three tick, or whatever ticks is good for you guys to copy and learn from each other. Okay, carry on, Benny.
Okay. What was produced did not go through quality checks and was often unusable.
And wastage. 记得哦。
wasted.
wastage 就是你要写两个字 unusable and wastage， 不是 wasted 啊 ，wastage 就是浪费掉。Carry on, TV.
Okay. Although grammar is weird. TV sets tended to explode every now and then. Many goals could not be met even when figures were inflated. Many workers were unskilled despite their vigor, and the machines tend to break down. In retrospect, Stalin should probably have commissioned more machine-making machines.
What you mean by that? Sorry, I put that a very good point. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like things. I mean, if you want to make a machine, I mean, like for example, this machine make balls, make balls.
Okay.
And then if you want a lot of this machine, then you need another machine to make the machine.
Yes. 就是说，比如说 I'm using a machine, a mold, yes. That means instead of using this machine to produce cloth, can I use a machine to build a better machines that can produce cloth but don't every time break down, don't every time have services, right? That's what you meant, right?
I mean, like, yeah, like things that, I mean, you need machine to produce machine parts as well, right? You cannot like just make a metal worker go piang piang piang.
Correct, exactly. I show to my goddaughter, you are right. So imagine 那个 piang 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 坏了，那个工头就是要叫那个工，哎，那个机器坏了，你去 biang 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 biang， 你说鸡蛋糕，那不是机器做的吗？为什么叫我去做这个？ So it's kind of wastage of a lot of manpower and energy. So machine can biang 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 faster, right? So instead of the man, so yes. So okay, then when you say TV set tend to be exploded in every now and then, this is very subjective. So you must show evidence of. 不要只是这样放 TV set. It's true, I agree with you, but you must show like every 5 household 1 or 2 TV set will be exploded. You know, must use a ratio to describe 记住你不要只是这样放，就是说，就是好像很大众化。It's a very generic ways of saying. Carry on.
Okay, I was just too lazy to get.
Don't use the word lazy. It's okay, never mind. But no, we learned that. So
whole numbers, and the over-industrialization also caused many ill consequences on the environment and human lives. Many resources were irrecoverably wasted and starvation everywhere.
I lost it. Sorry, where are you now? Everywhere is where?
Everywhere is the bottom of paragraph.
Here is it? No, suddenly I was reading halfway down and lost.
Many resources were irrecoverably wasted and starvation everywhere.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So when you put there many consequences, boy, all of you are not just Benny, all of you when you say consequences, always consequences can be good consequences and bad consequences. But a lot of people argue consequences is usually bad. Then you can use a more adjective to describe a ill consequences, a bad consequences, a disastrous consequences of the environments. Okay. Next one, secondly.
Intellectual and emotional needs of the people were suppressed, and this caused many generations of masses obsequious and loyal to nothing but the party and Stalin. These arts mostly descended into hollow idealism and propaganda.
Okay, wait, give me a minute. Somebody, wait, there's a chat group coming in. It's a kind of laggy, okay. I think the Wi-Fi. So, Benny, you need to speak closer to the mic. Okay. Thank you, Richen, for telling us. So, yes, okay. I like the way you say that mass sort of obscurous and loyal to nothing but the. So when you see the words obscurous means obedience, that means 就是很忠心耿耿的 to be really follow. This is a very good word to use. Most of the time you will not see this kind of words used in the other history lessons. But what it means here is that it's just like I only follow this leader, I only follow this party. It's just like you will serve by the true death like that. You know, that means you will sell your heart and soul, your spirits or your everything to this party, and that you will not have a second thought on other parties. That means you are very loyal to the parties, and whatever the parties say, you will just follow. So this is kind of really kind of brainwashed, like from one generation to next, just like grandfather to father to grandson. So this what it means here is that it shows that how that this Stalin has used very strong dictatorships, iron fists, these rules, and his power to control the people mind of USSR. Unfortunately, because of his controlling, that you know that there are millions of Russian people, okay, Russian people or Soviet Union people died under his leadership. Now, if these people did not die and still survive through, then they will have enough soldiers to fight with the Germans during the winter in the Stalingrad and Leningrad. But because of him, that's why you see in the World War II, the Russians are the ones who have the most death, casualties, okay, and calamity. So that again, this what does this tells you history that is that when you are getting rid of someone, you're also shooting yourself on your own. So as a result, because of that, even though after the end of World War II, the start of Cold War, they're going to start to build against with a lot of 5M and really very tedious. Okay, let me, oh, did I stop the sharing? Okay, sorry. Okay, let's go on. I hope it's okay, did not lag. And as an example,
Uh, could I? I'm not comfortable with reading the next part because I don't like it, and I also found something better. I want to write it down.
sorry, Benny, lagging. What do you say? Has you don't found? I just thought you don't found comfortable. What?
I the next two sentences I'm not too comfortable with reading.
Oh, the Demetrius, the one live in the constant fear of being captured, and many of his work. That one is it?
Yeah.
Is it the band? Okay, yeah, nothing wrong. I did the research, and before that, I told you I read about Stalin books. Okay, there are a lot of famous people during Stalin. Like one of them, okay, just for the sake of the 4 student, he's a very famous composer. He's just like Beethoven, that kind of generation. But he was forced to write lyrics that is very very propaganda. Just like I think you all know lah. Writing lyrics like "We have a vision for tomorrow" or "Stand out for Singapore." So it's like we are Singapore. It's like 很那个，就是很爱国的那种歌曲呀。
Okay, I think I'm comfortable with reading it. As an example, Dmitry Shostakovich lived in constant fear of being captured, and many of his works were banned, although several of them didn't even have
Yeah.
nitpick on. They were simply regarded as too frivolous and therefore uncommunist. One of his symphonies had to be smuggled across multitudinous war zones and the Atlantic to be heard in New York. Most TV programs were strictly censored and were mostly injected with propaganda, whether directly or in a nuanced interplay. The news was completely controlled by the TASS.
It's actually under the agency for Russian Soviet, like 他们的广播电台 the news, the media, okay?
Rashnoye Agentstvo something.
Soviets, yeah. But remember, if you write TASS, you must spell in full. Okay, you don't just put TSSS in your exam, you must spell in full. If you're not sure, then you just say was controlled by the communist media. Okay, the communist government media.
Okay.
If you put 明白，你就写
Russian word.
就是咯。I agree with you. Like CCCP is a Russian word，我都不会 spell， so 就不要紧。Unless you really learn Russian and write it down, the examiner can accept it. Unless provided he is also understand Russian. So it's nothing wrong. History is really sometimes if you are flexible, if you can learn that third language, is nothing wrong. Okay. All right. It's just like you see some 老外 the 外国人, they learn Chinese history also. Okay. They might know how to pronounce 岳飞 in really better than us as a Chinese, or even better than my son. Okay. If you pronounce it 岳飞 is really the 四调声，岳飞 is not 岳飞 the 岳飞 go to war, right? 对吗？它的 pronunciation 真的 so you can you imagine those 老外的那些外国人 when they want to learn China history, they also learn how to get the pronunciation correct. So yes, I agree with you. Now, the four of you, I'm not sure about Benny. If you were to go to Google and type this Demetrius Shitakov and you watch the YouTube, his music is awesome. His orchestra is very good. And I'm a person who like to listen to Beethoven, Trotsky, Beethoven's Mozart, Wolfgang, all these classical music. Okay, I'm more to a classical music. So when I listen to his music, it's very good. Okay, carry on, please.
Embarrassing news and most external media was made available to only journalistic and political leaders. This was known as the white test and red test. In
Oh, okay.
of
You're not there.
living, as goods were hastily and badly produced due to extreme targets, the general population did not have access to good quality products worthy of use.
Very good. Very good. This one is a good sentence. This will show that. Carry on.
The gaining of anything mostly depended on ration stamps.
Very good.
Lived in poverty, therefore further handicapping the people's ability to think, rationalize,
and create what and create what? Create their own housing, create their own sanitation, create their own living space. That word create. Carry on. As they had
basically anything creative, like for example, writing a poem or composing something.
All right, then you must write example. Create, like for example, this, because the create is like dot dot dot. You suddenly take it to think, rationalize, and create poem, but you did not finish the whole things. Yeah. Carry on.
Housing conditions worsened as the expanded industry but failed to provide basic housing for the workers. In 1950, the average living area of the average Soviet was less than 5 meters squared, and most citizens lived in communal squalor, where many families sharing a single flat were common. And then the rest of it is just random stuff I found, not related.
Okay, never mind. So like you see the word, therefore this condition improved after Stalin death, his housing unit was getting better. So you see, it's always that bad things that happens. Okay. Okay, so these statements to me may not be contributed to the question, so I move on to here. However, Stalin
was not a pure disaster as the USSR still managed to become a superpower. The 5-year plan fired the spark plug on Russia's factories, providing a start for the scientific development and industrialization of Russia and allowing Russia to advance to the position of a global superpower.
Well, you stop there. So from the start, now Stalin was not a pure all the way to a global superpower. You saw I put 3 tick. Whoever you are interested, you can copy these beautiful, awesome, and very powerful statements to show that you really support Stalin rise to power was not disastrous, but indeed it was a success to help USSR to transform to a very superpower, which is definitely true. Because after World War II, Russia was so strong that his ally power, the USA and the United Kingdom, turned their back against him, because after that they become the East and West Berlin War, and that's where the Cold War started. And it actually started, in my opinion, very sad. In your history textbook, it did not mention, it actually started between China and Taiwan in 1948 to 1949, 2 years, the Long March. If you all know about the Long March in China, and after the Long March, China and Taiwan separated, and Chiang Kai-shek had to move. That is, to me, is a Cold War, because the US also involved, as well as the USSR. Then the Korean War, then the Cuban Missile War, then the Vietnam War. So all these is involved with communism, with different ideology. Okay, very good. Carry on.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, some other people also write about the Great March in China or wherever. I think I've seen some stuff.
I tell you 啊，是真的，因为我那时读这个历史的时候，在我的高中的时候，I can imagine my grandfather have to go through this law. Seriously, my grandfather had to go through this type of stupid, unnecessary war. To me, I find it's very stupid. It's just like Chinese killing Chinese 嘞，对吗，Benny？
Yeah, lots of people say 中国人打中国人 and then they say this is very stupid.
就是咯，等下那些老外就笑我们咯。It's just like during the Iran and Iraq war, both a country are Muslim and they kill each other just because of one stupid thing called OIL. Oil. 哎呀，真是我搞不清楚为什么。Can you imagine Benny? So your neighbor suddenly is a Chinese boy, then finally Singapore's having a war. So you have to fight with your neighbor who is a different ideology, and you're forced to kill him or he forced to kill you. It's just like the Long March like that. It's why I don't understand. All because now
God, I don't think God will be happy if people fight over what to call him.
Can you just say 嘛，Benny？如果以后你是 Daddy，你有3个儿子，他们3个打来打去，为了抢你财产，你高兴吗？难道你在那边旁边看，哇，好啊，打，MMA 啊，MMA 啊，UFC 哇打，当然不是吗？对不对？当然你是会气死你，对不对？So
Yeah.
that's why I tell you, I don't know why they took away this part in the history where my elder son learned this. And the previous group, I thought they learned this, but because I find that in World War II, China history should definitely have to involve a lot, especially the Nanjing 大屠杀. Okay, that one is really have to mention that, but unfortunately it did not. So I don't know why. But later on, if you are interested to further study for your A-level for pure history, then we talk about it. So this is just a little knowledge for you. And because you have to understand until today why Taiwan is not in the United Nations, because China still believe Taiwan should be part of China. Okay, so you have to insist on that. Okay, so this is very political things. Okay, if you really want to study political science, then we move on to that. All right, let's move on. One can see this by USSR.
One can see this by the USSR's legacy of the first state-light and first human in space. Stalin was also not a disaster for people he supported or wished.
Yes, supported or wish, for example.
For example, Alexei Sakhanov and his most productive followers were applauded for working hard and used as poster boys to incite others into working hard. The next sentence is just my own opinion, just ignore.
Okay.
However, most citizens still lived in poverty and under oppression, financial, material, and psychological. One cannot even begin to imagine life in that era as an ordinary citizen. It is impossible for a modern 21st century mind to keep to such insane, implausible, unfeasible, and claustrophobic limits. Overall, Stalin's rule was an iron fist that provided a tall pedestal for a few lucky people, but crushed everyone underneath. For our modern world, the most applicable message we may take away is to cherish our freedoms and rights and to not abuse power when we have it.
I tell you, if I'm one of the students, sorry, I'm a bit having a migraine. So sorry, I'm closing my. I tell you, if I'm one of the student, Benny, I would definitely ask your permission to copy the last paragraph. So when I ask my daughter, okay, when she's reading this, say what, can I copy Uncle Raymond? I say, yeah, go ahead, but first you must ask Coco Benny for permission first. So the last paragraph was very good. I'm not sure about the rest agree with me or not. So this is the conclusion that usually I like to see. Okay, a strong, powerful vocabulary words. And then to add on to that, the last paragraph, actually you should add on, Benny, take note, to show that you did not really further explain if you can, that show that this shows that even though Stalin's certain part of his policy was disastrous, nevertheless, his policy has bring Russia to a next level, which he talked about a tall pedestal, a few lucky people. Yes, okay, but it's true that because of his big sacrifice, like killing the kulaks and anti-Stalins, anti-communists, he eradicated and purged a lot of these things, but still can make Russians strong again. That shows that his policy has some weight to carry on it. So I like the way you say that. You say, for our modern world, the most applicable message we take away to cherish our freedom and rights, and not to abuse power when we have it. So actually, through the abuse of power, he was able to use his iron fist to control, to maintain, to dictate, to manipulate his resources. But then okay, somebody want to talk? Richard?
The even with the 5 year plan, right?
Yes.
There's, there's loss of manpower.
Mm.
It technically affected the fire plan.
Sorry, the last part, what did you say?
Technically affected the fire plan because there might not be enough people.
Exactly. I damn agree with you. But because Russia got the can I say they got this they got the luxuries and they are able to have the what do you call it? You want to use the word, they have the access, the capability to expand um, manpower. For example, we are talking about in US now, I just saw the CNN news, is about 500 over 1,000 deaths because of COVID-19. Now imagine Singapore got 500 over 1,000 deaths in Singapore. Can you take it? No, definitely cannot, right? Already 29 cases of death, we panic like siao already. Okay, so to a Russian people, million of people, or sorry to say like China, India. Okay, recently I just heard, I feel very upset and feel very frustrated. Like yesterday, when I was teaching one of my Indian students from India who came to Singapore, he told me that his granddad passed away in India because of COVID-19. And when the granddad passed away in India, that was after a few days, they later discovered his body of COVID-19. In Singapore, you don't see this kind of things, right? Excuse me. I mean, seriously, the moment that once someone is got COVID, wow, everywhere. Just like recently, the TCS actor who having a party, child people, storm in the Facebook, straight away, wow, the police come in, everyone come in, things like that, right? Just like yesterday, I was doing my police duty. Okay, one of the auntie came in. He was being scammed from one of the scammer. Okay, then straight away, wow, we all will take action and help. But in other countries, like scam only, no big deal. So in China, in Indonesia, in India, or Japan, or US, or Europe, this type of thing is very common. So if you ask me, Rayton, yeah, it's a lot, but they have the expenses to do it at their luxury, at their way. Okay, never mind. How many people die? 2 million, never mind. We still can produce another 2 million. But he never think of the long term, you see. He only thinks that if I don't get rid of these 2 million people, I'm going to get rid. Just like this word, Hitler. Hitler killed about 6 million of Jews to 8 million of Jews. Some of them unaccountable for. So why do you think he did that? If he didn't kill these Jewish people, might be helping him, but he don't care because he's got allied forces like Finland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, and all these allied forces, and Italy. So they realize that, okay, I don't mind, I can get rid. Okay, even the German people who are LGBT or Gypsy or communist people, I can get rid. So what have we learned from here is that human side is very fragile. Okay, it's just like you can take away. It's just like you see, after 50, 70, 80 years after World War II, we are now fighting a very invisible war called COVID-19, which is we can't see the enemy. Whereas in the 70s, if you wear the uniform, a Japanese uniform or Hitler German uniform, I know you are my enemy. But now the enemy can be my family, can be you, can be me, can be everywhere because we carry the viruses. So what I'm saying that is that you mentioned that, okay, because of industrialization, it's okay. They need a target. They need this industrialization to move on forward, just like Singapore. So yesterday, my colleague, police colleague was telling me, we call ourselves smart nation, but a lot of people, our people are not very smart. You also start with S. They ask, hey, sir, what do you mean by S? Stupid people, lor. How can you give your password, your account to someone over the phone and let people scam you? Correct now, guys? It's just like, Benny, can I have your house key? I duplicate one. You see, it's a very good example, correct? No? It's just like somebody, Benny, one day walk on the street, then you say, hey, Benny, 你长得很好看 Benny, can I have a house key? Can I duplicate one? 你叫他去 fly kite 啊，你拿我的 you go and go Marina and fly kite. It's just like the old lady came and report the case. It's like, how can you say, oh, because 他打电话来，他说他是那个 high court, 他是 policeman, policeman 打电话你就跟他讲咩？ Right. In Singapore, just to share with you, in Singapore, we don't call you. We will send a letter to your post box. And then if you are summoned to court, they will tell you in 2 weeks' time, please go to court. Okay? Or come down to the police station to check. We will not call you that, oh, because of there's a lot of Bangladesh worker was being cheated. They say, oh, because your FIN number, your work permit expired already, you must transfer $1,000. Okay, you must do this. What got related to the industrialization? Because these people are very gullible, as what Benny was mentioning. It's a mass of curious people who follow them blindly. It's just like, I'm so sorry. I got one student in my school, Super Junior. I think you all know who is Super Junior, right? So one day I say Super Junior becomes Super Senior. Okay, Shiny become Rusty. Okay, girl generation become auntie generation. Wow, they were not happy. They were angry with me. Why you say all these things? So like Ranjan, sorry, Rachel. So when you see this type of things, what we learn history is to actually educate ourselves. Okay, should we carry out this plan? Like Singapore now is carrying out a plan called the Skill Future, $500 for every citizens, relearn, unlearn. It's all this we learn through history. After the World War II, a lot of countries suffer infrastructures, educations, unemployment, low birth rate. Okay, they really went through more hardship than now what we went through. And what history has taught us is that resilience, perseverance, self-discipline. Later you know by the Russian autarky, right? So carry on. Oh, sorry. So just now, Benny, you mentioned about this guy, right? Alexei says he was a very powerful person who helped Stalin to publicize. I think you all guys know Hitler is also a very powerful orator skill, right? He can talk very well, right? That's why he rise to power to become a chancellor and Führer. Same thing. Under Hitler, he also got a few very good general and a few good orator. And one of them, I can't remember his name. He also speak very well, better than Hitler. And he helped Hitler to promote him. But he's not as capable as Hitler. It's just like in an ancient war. No, they got this emperor. He ruled the country very well, but he cannot fight like UFA. Okay, something like that. So this is what it means. Okay. All right. Yes.
The person you were talking about, was it Goebbels?
No, it's not Goebbels. It's another guy. It's a very skinny guy, very short guy. Goebbels is a very fat guy, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Very fat and botak one, right? The bow guy, right?
Yes.
No, not that guy. No, not even another one. Another one is look like a gay. That's why Hitler killed him. It's under the SS trooper. Next round when we do Hitler, I research. I share that guy is inside. If you watch the movie called Hitler, you will know. Okay, he's super powerful. The way he talk is so charismatic that Hitler will also being charmed by him. Hitler made him to be one of the kind of something like a public speaker. Okay. Thanks, Rachel. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, a quick ones. I will put down, thanks Rayton and Benny to tell me that how come there was no slide up. So last night I put out a lot of slide inside. Thanks. Sometimes I really very forgetful. Promise means promise. I have to keep the promise. So let's go through this one here. This is okay. Where is the other white? Where is my PDF file? Give me a minute, guys. Sorry. How come don't have? Okay, never mind. I don't want to waste time. I want to go through this one first. Okay, let's go to. Okay, standing rule. A bit crooked and scan in. But this will be pulled out in your. Okay, Ryan, can you kind enough to read this first paragraph? Standing rule was a disaster. Ryan, are you there, Ryan? Ryan, will you be able to read those standing rules?
Standing rules was a disaster as its collectivization program destroyed Soviet farming. It failed to increase agriculture production, and in fact, grain harvest dropped drastically in 1931 to 1934 and did not recover to their pre-1928 level. There was also a loss of animal population until after World War II. Poor harvest contributed to the Great Famine of 1932 to 1934.
Thank you. Hold on. Stop. So remember, thanks, Ryan. Hold on. You still need to continue. So you need to know this 1932, the Great Famine, must take note. Okay, must take note of this one. So it say that was a disaster because the collectivizations program destroys most of the farming. Okay, carry on. To worsen. Yes, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan, continue to worsen.
To worsen the situation, the state did not distribute the stockpiled grain but exported it to fund industrialization. This famine caused great hardship and misery to the people, including the deaths of 7 million people. Thus, Stalin's rule was a disaster as collectivization worsened the lives of many people.
Remember, okay, thank you. I'm going to type this to everyone. Remember when you're doing SEQ, you must DEERL. Remember that. So first, he described what is the things that is having disaster. That is a collectivizations. At the same time, he explained why this is a disaster with some evidence stated 1932 to 34, and further show the expressions how it was bad. So it create hardship and misery. That is the expressions. So what happened to that? As a result, 7 million people died. Then, of course, L stands for linking back to the question. Thus, realize that the THT, gentlemen, that is the magic word you need to remember. The thus, hence, and therefore is so powerful that when you add this word inside, you actually sum up your arguments. That's where you get your level 1, 2, and 3 mark. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Yichen, your turn. Stalin rule was a disaster.
Stalin rule was a disaster because his industrialization program worsened the lives of the people and led to a fall in the standard of living among the Soviet people.
Stop. Exactly what Benny was saying just now. Okay. And exactly what Ray Chen was saying, isn't because of that, you see, can you imagine? I need to pause over here. Imagine that why industrialization? First is collectivization, now is industrialization. Hey, uncle, either you sell or the Stalin sell. Why both also bad? Just imagine there are 10 farmers working on the farm. So because of the industrialization revolutions, that now they got tractor. They don't need so many farmers to harvest the crop, maybe 2 to 3 farmers. So the rest of the 7 farmer has to get out of the farm and move to the city to work in the industry building to produce goods, like maybe produce tank, machine guns, you know, the T-34 tank, right down, and the AK-47, the machine gun. So there, I got students very ask me, so uncle, is M16 better or the AK-47? Because I watched Rambo, it seems that the AK-47 got more bullets in the magazine. That one, please, is separate issue. Unless you want to study military defense, military war in army, you sign up for scholarship, then you do that. So of course I know some of the answer there. Okay, but let's come back to this. Why is this important? Which maybe some of the teacher did not mention. Please take note. This industrial revolution helps the Russians later on to sell their weapons, their machines to other countries that support communism ideas, to fight against anti-communism as well. Okay, so later China also built up from that, as you know, if you want to find out. So this is very important because it's a disaster, because they believe, in my opinion, Stalins believe that industrialization is the leapfrogging for Russians to move better to compare with the Western counterpart like Germany, Great Britain, Italy, and France. And of course, they also want to compete on the same level footage with USA. Then you think, no, not wrongly. But why you say USA and USSR, they want to fight? Then why during World War II, they become good friends and fight against Germany? Because both of them have the same common enemy. After the common enemy die already, they separate and they fight against one another because they don't share the same ideologies. Carry on, Ishan.
Let's see. The drive towards industrialization caused more people to move to the industrial city, resulting in overcrowding and worsening the shortage of housing. As a result, many people were forced to live in cramped conditions, often without sanitation. Stalin's rule was a disaster also because his industrialization program led to a fall in the standard of living among the Soviet people due to the neglect of consumer industries. Stalin's 5-year plans focused mainly on the heavy industries and neglected the production of consumer goods like clothing. This led to a shortage of consumer goods and it affected the standard of living. Hence, the Soviet people suffered hardship.
Now you know, after reading this passage, now you know why, like China, Japan, Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, I mentioned all these countries, they are so particular to know how to manufacturing what goods. Like at that time, Singapore, in order to have sustainability, they decided to open out their own factory to produce masks. Later, because there are many years ago, I think you are not born yet. Or was it due to SARS? SARS that time, I think you are not born yet, right? So eggs was one of the reasons that birds flu 每个人不敢吃鸡蛋. So they modified the egg yolk into some organic egg or whatever it is. So you realize that, you see, through this, 每次 you realize every time we must go to a very chaotic, a very tough life, a difficult life, then we start to modify our lifestyle. Then we decided to invent new machines, new things to make our life easier, to protect our life. You see, through World War II, a lot of invention was discovered. So you ask me, is it good to have World War II, then we can have more inventions? Sad to say, in certain extent, yes. Or is it true that through COVID-19, then we start to invent a lot of things that never happened before? Yes. Sometimes in life, it's just like you, 你要跌倒一次，你才知道的痛，然后你下次走路的时候，你会小心一点。 So I'm sad to say this is what it works like this. Okay, thank you. You can mute your mic, Yi-Chen. Next will be Ray Chen's. Stanley Lu was not a disaster.
Stanley was not a disaster as his industrialization brought some benefits to the people because there were creations of jobs and every Soviet worker had a job. Every Soviet worker had a job. This was in sharp contrast to their counterparts in countries like the USA or Germany, where millions were jobless during the Great Depression.
Stop. Very good. Okay, well read. It's true. It's true. You realize through COVID-19, you see some country boom, some country collapse like hell. Some country, in fact, majority of country collapse like hell. And how come Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, Taiwan, or China? I hate to say that 那个矛头指的每次都是武汉 virus, Wuhan virus. Why not people say Spanish virus? Why not say about US also got virus? Why must be the Chinese virus? And why are you so anti-Asians people? From past until now, I just realized that Amoa has been always anti us Chinese. I don't know what's the reason. Is it because our color is nicer than them? Or what? You know, seriously, I just can't understand why. And then one of my students say, Uncle, so since you keep saying that, then don't learn English lah. No, yeah, I know, but my Chinese is still good, what? Because I know my roots. So what we are saying here that is that you realize that the Russians, you see, that's why just now Benny 你讲得很好. Stalin must have a foresight view to feel that communism is a way to lead forward at that time, because they saw the country 90% or 98% of them are farmer and peasants and low income workers. So he go for the mass. You are right. So he is maybe he's one of the person who was from the very low income. So that's why he decided to build Russian so strong. So Ray Chen, when you read this, you know that the Great Depressions, can you imagine a General Fox Motor or GM car cost $1,000, now sell $5. You give me $5, I also won't buy the car because I got no oil and petrol to pump. How do I drive the maneuver the car? Now I rather have $5 to buy bread and eat. So you see, this is where Stalin has a far-sighted view. So like learning history, I always have to emphasize, learning history is make a student to able to see things in a different perspective. So you're saying that geography doesn't look that way, man? No. In fact, humanities subject is the way you look at different perspective. I'm so sorry to say, max 1 + 1 就是2了。你跟我讲什么 different perspective? You can tell me isosceles triangle, an equatorial triangle, and a right angle. With any different perspective? 你看来看去还是 right angle. I don't know. I'm not very good in math. You tell me sine, cosine, tangent 就是这样啊。Okay, you tell me H2O 就是 water. You can tell me can it be acid? Can it be alkaline? No, right? So science and maths to me is a very straightforward, straight cuts. Well, humanities is where you have different perspective that makes those straight cut things, science and maths, to come in later on, to implement and to apply to it. So this is where Stalins use the emotional and physical aspect. So when you write your history essay, it's the same when you write your English compo. You bring your emotional out, okay? And that's why you can score. And that's why when Benny wrote this essay, it takes time to write. Seriously, to study history is not easy. It's just like history is like a lawyer. You're defending a case. How to please the examiner, how to please the judge to make sure that this client is confirmed going to jail. Whether it's a 10 years jail or 5 months jail or maybe no jail terms. It's how you articulate your speech and your evidence. If your evidence is not strong enough, good luck to you. And I advise you, if you are so free, go and watch this movie called 法外情 by Liu Dehua. You will understand the whole subject, how he used the evidence to help his prostitute mom to get away from death sentence. It's a very beautiful movie, okay? Thank you. Carry on, please. Though working
conditions were tough, at least the Soviet people had jobs and therefore were assured of a basic means of livelihood. With jobs, they could feed their families and meet their basic needs. Moreover, free education and medicine were available to most workers. Therefore, Stalin's rule was not a disaster, as his industrialization benefited the Soviet people because they were guaranteed jobs and minimum subsistence.
So people say, well, Singapore can't put mask on, must follow regulation, must check in, check out, all these things. So last month ago, I went to buy some flower for Chinese New Year. I saw a girl, and I thought she is a Singaporean. I said, hey, you no need to go to school. I said, oh no, I'm from Malaysia. Oh, so why? Okay, since you cannot go back Malaysia, then you can do Zoom or TikTok to your teacher and learn online. What? Hey, sorry, my school doesn't have this facility. I have to stop school for a while. So what does that mean? So you're going to stop for 1 year? Yeah, then, I'm going to start, like say he's a primary 6 student. By right, this year supposed to be set 1, he have to go back to primary 6. Waste 1 year, right? See, poor thing, So you see the government, why are you saying the Wi-Fi? So people, you see Singapore invest very strong infrastructures. You see, there is a foresight, the high side and the insight of a person. So it's the same thing in your life. When you come out to work, you have to save enough money to buy a condominium, a car, or HDB, or land a property, or go for a tour, or save for retirements, or take care of your aging parents. This is where the social study comes in. So you realize social study and history is like brother and brother, or husband and wife. They link together to it. So you see, whatever you talk about it is also political, economic, and social aspect. You see, well, you see, Singapore are having masks, everything. You see, big country, like, you see, everyone laughing at a small dog. But you see, we are well prepared for this kind of unprecedented pandemics. We are ready to take out challenges. So Stalin has went through it and is able to prepare that. That's why after World War II, they are ready to prepare for a Cold War with the US through all these things aspect of life. Just like a Great Depression, when US are suffering, the Russians are enjoying success. Just like now, I don't want to use that in that way, but sadly to say, just like now, you see Singapore are very safe and sound. We can go out and eat, we can go and buy food, we can 8%. But there are some countries can't even have 8 persons or even lockdown. And I just watched the USA, New CNN. Okay, Texas and some countries now open out. No need to wear masks. 100% everyone can go out without masks. I think the mayor got 头脑进水啊. Even the top scientists in US say, no, you are not supposed to continue this. We must vaccinate it. We must get every citizen to vaccinate and be safe. Then we open out. They no need. It's okay. You can open out now. So 是弄巧反拙了. So you see, let's see what you're going to go. Okay, next one will be whose turn? Howard, your turn. Stalin rule was not a disaster.
Stalin's rule was not a disaster, as his 5-year plan transformed the Soviet Union into a highly industrialized nation. The plans led to the growth of industrial cities like Magnitogorsk, economic expansion of remote areas, and spectacular growth in the engineering industry and electricity works.
Stop. So people say, like now, I use this example. I want you to learn history, not because of past history, but how can we implement this? You see, all this is where the Soviet has suffered a lot after the revolution, the war, or the pandemic, or the Spanish flu, or the Great Depression. But why they can come back strong? It's just like Singapore people say, hey, you sell, why you invest on skill future? 我们现在吃不饱，还要什么 retraining 啦 ，go for skill future, pay $500 to learn WordPress 啦 ，digital marketing 啦，learn how to cook, learn how to dance, learn how to learn a third language, learn how to cope with stress, learn all these things. Why the government pump in so much money, all these things? Why must go and repair the parking lot? Why going to repair the lamp post? Why going to do all these things? Why do you go take care of the old people, their dementia things, all these things? Why? Exactly, this is what Harvey has read. Okay, you are actually transforming. This is where before the COVID-19, Singapore government has already every 5 years has to plan. Hey guys, it's the same as you. Those set 4 students. I'm very serious to you. Okay, recently I got one student. The student play games, play until 2-3 a.m. until the mom had to call me and say how I'm going to help the students. Okay, if it's very sad. And then every day And the person who plays game with the students, student A, my student A, the student B, C, and D, their results are so good, all A1 and A and things. And my students just recently passed my SS and history is on the way. Not most of the time did not pass. So I had to Zoom with the students to make sure that she go through the process. Okay, I refused to teach the student at first. So and then I decided to continue to do Zoom and to help. Why? Because I feel that every students must plan. If this student continue to play game 2, 3 a.m. and talk and look at TikTok every day, I think that students is going to be in the wrong directions. I don't think the students are there to go for poly and JC. Same thing if the fire plan is studying is not going to put this. If studying were to sit there and have corruptions and take away the things and buy goods like Nicholas the Tsar, Russia will go down, and then Germany has a good reason, good excuse, and good penetration to attack Stalingrad and Leningrad and Moscow, and the whole of Russia will be taken. And then I think history is gone. So same thing, in Singapore did not take all this fascinated stuff and seriously, distant, all this thing. Half our population is gone. Some other countries are eyeing on Singapore and will take over us. It's the same thing. Okay, why sorry to say, why some couples are divorced? Because the wife look at the husband useless, 整天是喝酒嫖赌. Then the wife also 整天赌博, 爱慕虚荣, whatever, okay? So that's how the divorce started. They did not plan for their future. When it comes to money, all this happens. So I know Uncle Raymond has been doing counseling in my school, and every time my student will come and tell me all these type of stories. My father is a gambler in prison. My mother ran away. I cannot take care. Can you imagine 30晚一个人在家里吃饭，妈妈已经pass away了，没有水电费，还水电费。You see how poor, how bad it is. Okay, this is true 我不是跟你 I got a student 30晚他一个人吃团年饭，the brother have to work alone just to pay the electrical bill. When the mother got cancer, the father ran away. Okay, the mother passed away. Then I asked my student, why don't you eat in the 7-Eleven where they got light and water and aircon? You know what he told me? 我不要，因为我妈妈一个人在家里，就是那个 the portrait of the mother. How sad it is, right? When the mother was cancer, the father ran away. Then 妈妈死掉，30晚，他一个人没有灯，没有电，not even candle. No, are you scared not to go in alone? When I say, so boy, you not scared, man? So dark and things. Why scared? I'm with my mom. What? It's true story, no. I'm not cursing my student, no. Because after the next day, when he come back to school, I asked him, how you go through this 30晚？就是这样咯，就是天下就是这样，没有人 plan， 害到那个孩子没有书读，没有地方住。But thank God when I saw his Facebook, he's now in the army doing very well, strong and steady. And when I told him, Raphael, his name, you must plan, you must do things. Don't let people look down on you. He's not even an express student, okay, by the way. All right, so what you have to do, please, everything now, what you do, you need to plan. If you fail to plan, you're going to plan to fail. This is a very, very true statement. If Singapore don't plan all these things, today I won't be sitting here and talking to you already. Okay, I'm seriously, right? It's very sad to see that all these people who fail to plan, and what's standing, right? I will never forget what Rachel said, but because it affects the industrialization. Tell me, in any things that we do as a famous people, it's based on the past of history. All the emperors, when they want to build the Great Wall of China, you say Qin Shi Huang is a very lousy emperor, right? You say Alexander the Great, Chen Shi Han, Genghis Khan, Napoleons, you name it, any emperors or any leaders who never make big sacrifice to the country. That's life, man, guys. Look at the people, the healthcare worker in Singapore who help to save a lot of life. These are one way of the sacrifice they have to make. Okay, so right, carry on, please.
Factories, mines, dams, canals, and new industrial towns mushroomed all over the USSR. Foreign technicians.
Stop. Sorry. Do you know what is the meaning of mushroom? You're not going to expect that thing grow into mushroom. Huh? So can you put the word mushroom means booming? That means it grows very fast. Do you know mushroom grow very fast, right? You study science, you know, right? Huh, Benny? Mushroom, right? So mushroom means grow very fast. Start to mushroom. So right now, this word mushroom means it's going in a very rapid manner. Carry on.
Foreign technicians were brought in and great investment was put on education and training to produce skilled workers.
Stop. Even at that time in 1928, USSR also got foreigners to come in to help. Such a bloody big country also need foreign talents. 何况是新加坡? During Italy, Venice, when Venice rise to power for 1,000 years, they also need foreigners to design their arsenal. You know what's arsenal, right? Their weaponry. How can we say a country don't need foreigners? Do you think China at that time also need foreigners? Marco Polo is one of the good example, right? Correct now. Carry on.
By 1940, the USSR was in the first division of industrial powers, along with Germany and Britain.
Stop. Do you feel great now if you are one of the leaders doing that? Do you feel great that, okay, I mean, some of you here may not be a Singaporean. I feel great I'm a Singaporean. And do you know the most expensive and more powerful passport in the world is Singapore passport? Such a small country. Why? The least corrupted country, the most clean country. But sometimes too clean until the citizen also easily get gullible and get cheated. So good and bad, huh? So what I'm saying here that why do you feel good as a first nation? Imagine you say that you come from Singapore, you come from Africa, or you come from certain countries. People look at you in different perspective. Okay, it's just the same. I'm so sorry. In ways of next time you go for interview. When you say you come from Harvard and come from NUS, come from Oxford, MIT, or Beijing 大学 or University of Tokyo, okay, I'm surprised. One of my students is a China student who studied in my ex school. Now is studying in Japan, okay, in a Japanese school, in Japanese university. And the best thing is, 他没有去 A level, he self-study, and he approached me to ask me to write a testimonial to his two professors to get testimony to show that he's good enough to enter, and now he's the second year in one of the Japanese university in Japan. So he's planning his career, and in class he's always get bullied because he's from China, and because the way he pronounced words, some of my students will always laugh at him until I got so fed up, not of him, of my student. I have to make sure that if he were to make fun of these students, the whole class is going to stay back. So of course, some of the students are not happy. So I got to plan, planning how to please everybody. Okay. It's just easy because why people say, yeah, well, just one student only, Mr. Shong. Why you waste so much of your time? Just let it be lah. Forget it. It's just a foreign student. Why you care? Okay, you should care this. Sorry. My policy is 4个字. You like it or not, I always use this. 一视同仁. Right, Benny? You agree? 一视同仁，每个都是与父母亲生的。不管你是黑的、白的、青的、蓝的、红的 as long you're not alien. Okay? If you want to be my history student, you also take things must be like that. This is a perspective. 一视同仁, all men are equal on this planet. Even LGBT. At first, I cannot take it. You know what is LGBT, right? All of you know what is LGBT, right? You know, okay. At first, I cannot take it. As a Catholic, I cannot. As a Christian, I cannot take it. But later I look at it, they are not bad things after all. Okay, carry on. Last paragraph. Benny, will you be kind enough to read the last paragraph to the whole class, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
The 5-year plans transformed the USSR from an agrarian country to a highly industrialized one and boosted the Soviet economy. It also provided the USSR with a strong industrial base for the powerful arms industry, thus strengthening its defense capacity and making it a stronger country. Therefore, Stalin's rule was not a disaster as it benefited the country.
Exactly your answer with what you written in the essay. Okay, sorry, last part here. Let me read. I think we're quite tired. Rei Chen, will you be kind enough to read for me? Everyone take notes of this last paragraph. It's very important. Sorry. Rei Chen.
But is it the one that
Stalin rule was not a disaster to people?
Stalin's rule was not a disaster to people who were in Stalin's favor, such as the Hanbonites who enjoyed privileges. His rule was not entirely a disaster if one considers the transformation of the country into a top industrialized country.
Stop. So you see, not every plans, everyone are against it. Okay, let's put it this way. Your parents have many plans for your future. Okay, some plans you may not like it. Just like when you are in primary school, your parents drill you to go tuition. If today don't have tuition, don't have proper education, don't have constant scolding you, nagging at you, do you think today you are so good enough? And remember, guys, I shared this story about Mother Teresa with my 712. Some even cry. The amount of blood that your mommy lost during the process of giving birth to you, 你一辈子是还不清的哈。OK， 你来世也是还不清的。The first 5 years of your life, that's your parents have planned for you. Today you are so fit and strong and handsome and good. You should really thank your mom and dad, especially your mother. 10月怀胎 and the amount of blood that she lost giving birth to you. My wife nearly died when she gave birth to my third son. Seriously, when I say nearly died, it's called eclampsia. All the organ was being affected. Now I know how hard my mom gave birth to me. Okay, so guys, so my policy to my student, if you say you are tired of this, just shut up and do a good job. And plan for your future. Don't complain so much. Your mother never complained in the middle of the night to wake up and feed you when you are a baby. She have a beautiful plan for the rest of her life. She even don't mind to sacrifice her life to you, just like Stalin's doing all these things. She knows that she had to have a big sacrifice. She knows that people will hate him. But because of the because of the motherland, not mother nature, motherland that he processed like Hitler. Just like Lee Kuan Yew. You think everyone like Lee Kuan Yew? Certain thing he does, he did. Same thing like your parents. You might not like your parents, their ideas. But ultimately, 纯粹它是为了你的将来好. It's the same thing, whatever you do for your future of your children. Your children might say, Daddy, I don't like your ideas. You may not be 100% right. Just like Stalin, what? Now you understand why you do all these kind of questions for what? For fun and laughter, man. Who the hell is Stalin? It's Russia and Singapore. Different country, 关我屁呀. So now you understand why when we do all these questions is to analyze our internal self, is to make sure that we are able to understand how to treat humans with right perspective of life, how to analyze a project, how to analyze a situation, a challenge. Just like all our ministers earn a very big figure of money. So they really have to put their thinking hat and start to think of that. Carry on, please. This is remarkable, right? Rachel. Yes, Rachel. This is remarkable.
Oh yeah, okay. This remarkable achievement provided the industrial capacity for the development of a strong defense industry, which enabled the country to defeat the Germans in World War II. However, all these were achieved at a great human cost because the people had to endure hard-working discipline, poor standard of living, and they lived in fear and lost their freedom. Hence, Stalin's rule was not a disaster to the country if we look at the long-term successes, but it worsened the lives of many people.
So you see, Stalin has started, thank you, Rachel, so much. That Stalin has so much propaganda, their people of USSR Soviet, until they have become drilled inside that they die for Stalin, they die for the country. So the moment when Germans start to penetrate and attack Stalingrad, Leningrad, and Moscow, and any part of Russia, 他们是真的是永垂不朽啊，粉身碎骨 will go and defend at all costs to protect the country. Because they know that I spent bloody so much time working in the coal mine, in the industrialization, collectivization, 鸡蛋糕，你现在来抢我的土地啊，我丢鸡蛋石头给你啊。It's the same thing why we all have to do NS to defend Singapore. Yes. Yes. 你要讲东西吗？
No, I think I forgot to mute.
Okay, so 你看just like Singapore, why we need to have national service? You don't want people to come and rob the country, like during Kuwait War and Iraq and Kuwait War. After the Kuwait and Iraq war, the Kuwaitis people start to have national service to protect their motherland. So you see, it's important. History, they always say, do not repeat history by itself. It's very, very, very true. Okay, thank you so much on that. So I'm not going to close this. I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so we know about this. Wait, give a minute. I think we start from here, right? Here. Okay, then studying. Okay, last week we talked about this one here. Okay, we talk about how standing economic policy works. How this autocracy self-sufficient does not rely. So it's same thing now, you see. During that time, Russian also need to have self-sufficient. It's the same sustainability. That's why we Singapore also learn from that as well. So we are planning. In fact, that's why every 5 years we have election. Isn't the same things? Now I understand why. Then you ask me, why cannot be 3 years, man? Cannot be 4 years, man? Can you 5 years? Yes, of course. You can have every year also can. Then you got to waste a lot of 5M resources, always do that. So far, average 5 years is the best. Of course, people plan 10 years, but 10 years, the movement is very fast. I think 3 to 5 years is pretty good enough. But you know, US election is every 4 years. So there are difference, okay? So I want to quickly go through this 5 years. You remember the gospel plan? You must take note of that. Okay, next then how will the find? Remember the 8 marks question. Next lesson we're going to go through. Because I can't find my slide. I remember I opened my slide for the 8 marks questions about is it the sheer luck that one. Next lesson I'll go through. How will the 5 year plans carry out? Okay, so remember just now Benny was mentioning about ration stamp, rewards for meetings, reward. So very simple, guys. Every time you always use this 5 year plans, use the so then how. So, okay, what is the rations for this then? And how. If I don't, how? There will be punishment. Okay, take note of that. Okay, this is called rapid industrialization. You can see doing all the tractors. This picture clearly shows that they are going to modernize the whole USSR. Okay, factory in the cities. Okay, exactly what Benny was saying. Produce machine to make better machines, such as tractors. Not the tractors keep breaking down, then jialat, that's it, the end. Okay, take note of the years here. I think was it Hao Rui or Yi Chen? Yi Chen 还是 Ryan was talking about this, the years itself, right? So this is the actual year. Take note on that. Okay, I'm gonna move a bit faster. So this is the, okay, from here starting, it was very good. Now later here, this is start where the Greek terrors come in already. All the purges, all the fears, Greek fear. Why? Because they cannot meet demands. The people get exhausted and tired. It's like just like running 800 meters. Starting, if you run very fast, by the second round, you already get tired already, okay? So evaluation of 5 year plan, is it good? So negative, poor conditions, coordination and planning. So everything is about planning. If you're planning fail, that means that's the end of the whole situation. You're not able to complete the target. Okay, so they did not benefit USS because the emphasis of heavy and coal and iron, that is manufacturing, but they did not use it because you don't forget, Russia has 4 seasons. So when the winter comes, a lot of people will die and freeze to death. So they need coal and to burn to keep them warm. But end up the coal is used in industrial. Quality of goods suffer, of course. That means there's no quality check. That means they only produce mass. They don't care about quality. So maybe produce 100 of items, products, maybe only 60 of them can work, 40 cannot, so it's wastage. Okay, poor quality affect the quality life. Decline rate of growth, of course, if you keep doing that and start wasting things, that means you did not spend quality time to check. I'm using example like a Rolex watch and Casio watch. You know what's Rolex, right, Benny? You know it's Rolex, right? Rolex is the most expensive watch, right? Okay, Rolex and Casio, you cannot compare, right? Rolex is a few $100,000 and Casio is only maybe $100, right? I believe all of you agree, right? So you see the dedication that they put the effort inside the watch and the Casio, or compared to, for example, a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, compared to a Suzuki, a Toyota, or even a very low-end car. So it's a quality that they spend a lot of quality check, research and developments. That shows that they don't give a damn about research and development. They just do mass and produce as fast as possible and meet the demand and sell it off. And then you can see the figures just dropping and maintain. So because they die out, they can still producing the same thing without improving. So what's the point? That's like sometimes you buy a good water bottle and a lousy water bottle. Okay, why one water bottle can last so good, so long, and the other water bottle accidentally you drop, that's it. You smash it and gone. Okay. So this did not benefit the USSR because the economy slowed down. Then you take note. And it's also about time that the war is going to start already. So this is where I think Germany saw that USSR is dropping and they're going to take the advantage to attack our dear friend. Possible, huh? Possible, huh? So high human cost, yes, I agree with Rachel. You see, a lot of people. Okay, a quick one, maybe you can type it out. Can I do a survey? This one, number one will be people. People work will be number two. Living condition will be number three. Number four will be no running water. Number five, which one do you think will be the most severe and the worst one? I will choose number four. Can you type your answer inside the chat group now, please? The five of you. Ryan say number four. Thank you. Who else? Water is essential. Fine. Okay, I won't say the answer yet. Who else? Rui Chen, Yi Chen, Hao Rui. Please type your answer, please. Benny, what is your answer? Yeah, last one. People often upload homes and send. Okay, so Benny will choose number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yi Chen will be number 4. Hao Rui also number 4. Yi Chen number 4. Benny number 5. Rebel. Okay. So I think it's more of the part where the kulaks rebel. Okay. So you are choosing number 5, is it? No. Among here, this five points. The problem with the fire plants. Here. We are not talking about kulaks at that point of time, at this point of time. Sorry. So what is the answer? Number 5. Okay, surprisingly, the people who choose number 5 uploaded from home and sent to work. Okay, that's caused the person. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe 那个地方是他的祖先的地方, then uproot there and go off and work. Sometimes in Singapore, we also got this thing called en bloc, right? That means you stay for the house for too long, then you en bloc it, the government asks you to shift and move to another place, they pay you. So this one, maybe they are being forced from their home and move out of their house, move up from their farm and go and work in the city. So I will say, I choose number 4. I agree with those who say that water is essential. Now, water is the way that you clean off all the dust. Just like now you see COVID-19, you have to wash your hand. You have to use water sanitizing stuff and water to disinfections, or use water jet to clean all those algae, all these things. So I find that water is essential, okay? No hard and fast rule, but just to tell you why I say this survey. So sometimes when you study halfway, you feel very bored. This is where you can have your own internal survey and ask yourself why you choose number 4. Then you explain. When you're able to explain, you're actually writing a small essay inside your 12 to 8 marks question. Okay, so this did not benefit because worker have poor living condition. Usually, I would say that because water will clean away, provide better sanitations. Positive, yes, you see positive, like what Benny and what the notes just now Rachel has read in the last paragraph. Yes, it makes Russian to be a superpower again, and that's why they rose in the great speed, but at the expense of a lot of people die lah. That's life one, just like building a Great Wall of China. Okay, the purpose of Great Wall of China is to prevent the barbarians to come in. Okay, but a lot of people die, of course, and even the pyramids. This benefit the US become modernized through rapid industrialization through the 3-5 years plan. Okay, but the last one did not really materialize much. They are still working, but not so much. Then and reducing unemployment. This is the one our dear friend Benny was saying, that reducing unemployment, job opportunity, as well as the model answer by Mrs. Wong there. I urge all of you, if you can, go to Popular and buy the two books, the SPQ and SEQ by Mrs. Wong B. Tin. Okay, it's very good book, seriously. Okay, just now our dear friend, I cannot, sorry, Magni talk of course. Okay, was it Howry or Brian? Yeah, you pronounce better than me, sorry. I will say Magnolia. Okay, I pronounce Magnolia. Okay, a showpiece, Magnolia is an ice cream, right? Okay, a showpiece of the achievement of 5-year plans. Okay, you ask me to pronounce in Japanese name are very good. But Russian names and German, German I cannot get it. The way they say thank you is danke. I prefer the Japanese arigato, tomo arigato. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, this is, okay, we'll do collectivizations. Stanley wanted higher productivity, especially gains. Gain is where you can make bread, confectionery, but all the things that dough that they can eat day to day as part of the staple goods. Okay, Stanley need to feed all the workers in the rapidly industrial town. Why? Why do you think so? Because like just now I mentioned, right, they need to build strong machinery things. Okay, how was carried out? Okay, so remember all these things here, merge small individual farm into huge stage. So now you know why 10 farmer become 3 farmers. So all the small farm, we have 10 farmer, 20 farmer, they might take 30% to work on the farm, the rest of the 70% go to the city and work. Okay, so the Bolshevik teachers teaching less than enthusiastic farmer about the benefit of collectivization. See, they teach them how to do. Of course, they're not happy. Now my farm has to merge with other who will work, man. So the peasant works kept enough. So the peasant and farmer is a bit different. The peasant is the one who's suffering. Farmers were given modern machinery to do this. Peasant could not own their land, therefore have to sell food, and they end up, they become poorer. They are mostly uneducated, so they can't even find a better jobs and better wages. Okay, punishment for, just remember, whatever you cannot meet the demands is always punishments. Okay, less food, less wages, less better place to stay. Okay, more farmer resisted collectivizations here. Food production went down, famine strike again. So because people are hungry, people don't want to man the field, and end up there'll be pests, locusts everywhere. What is Stalin do to stop resistance? Use force. Whatever it is, just now Rachel was talking. Yeah, anti-collapse. The rich farmers decided to go against it. Of course, when I rich, why should I share my richness to you when you are not working hard as I am? Why should I share my wealth with you? Nonsense. So I either go out, I migrate out of the country, or I decided to go against you. So before you can go against me, I go against you, I get rid of you. Okay, so this is an anti-Gulag campaign. Take note. What did Stalin do to stop resistance? Of course, they changed the collective. So everyone being state farm control, whether you like it or not, it's run by the government. So jialat. Then they put them in local concentration camps or if not, they will shot them to death. It's very sad. If you don't follow my order, that means it's using my force. So evaluation of collectivizations. Okay, just a quick one. So remember, they gain a lot of things from there. So that's the positive side of it. Okay, propaganda poster to show that everyone has a very wonderful feast, enjoying all the foods. Excuse me, this is a drawing portrait. It's not a live picture. Live picture means like that. So this is just a picture drawing. So I can draw anything nice. I can draw Uncle River with a lot of long silky hair. But in actual fact, I'm a botak, hair dropping. This benefits the positive of Russians to show that they are very good. Because of modernization, they makes the country to have enough food to eat. That which is not true. Only certain part, yes lah. As what you mentioned just now in the book, right? The textbook, the guidebook, that only certain group of people, okay, was severely hampered. Okay, loss of animals, cattle and sheep was not recovered until after World War II. Okay, so this kind of domestic animal need times to grow and do things, but unfortunately they might be overworked and end up they got enough food, not enough food, they die. So this did not benefit, the collectivization did not benefit, because remember, if you say did not benefit, please talk about the Great Famine. To have to cope with this evidence. Okay, take note. This is what event is saw. Okay, famine. So this is a true life picture. There were huge human loss. Okay, great famine. Take note of the year also, please. This is the second plan of the second part of the 5-year plan. Take note of this also. Death of millions. So no need to know how many. Just now one of the books saying 7 million, right? When the Kulak receives collected, were harshly punished and killed, coupled with the Greek famine. So killing of Kulak's Greek famines are the one that it was not successful because it was unjust and great suffering. So political impact, stability. Okay, we covered this already. The Greek terror in 1934, and this is the ones that they decide to. Okay, look at him. You realize he stand out as a fatherly figure among everyone to show that he's a great leader. And you realize all the leaders always like to show one hand up. So it's like, I have a plan. I'm leading you forwards. I'm leading this country into good prosperity, peace, and progress, and happiness, and perform the best. So this is a political impact of the Great Terror. Get rid of all these people. So you must take note in your test if they talk about it. Okay. Political impact, the Great Terror from this year. Take note, Stalin launched a series of campaigns of political repressions and purges. Use the word purges, please. Purges to eliminate enemies and remove any opposition to his governments. And what Benny was mentioned just now, ascend up to get rid of every rival. So when in the process of getting out to become the leader, along the way, he get rid of a lot of his opponents or competitors. Many show trials. Take notes of this. There will be an SBQ who show that everyone's in the show trial is all Stalin. So it's as good as no need to show lah. So whatever you show is also Stalin make the decision. Okay, so take note of arrest and interrogations. Okay, so I will stop here, the Greek Terror. So next lesson, we'll talk about this plus the 8 marks questions. Okay, whoever has not finished the 2 questions, I'm not going to give you any extra homework. But if your school, guys, let me stop the slide. So if your school has some homework for you to do, like that time, who was it, Ryan's, right? Or Yi Chen, I can't remember, or I think Ryan or Harvey. If you have any school questions like the one about TOV, you can do it and let me check and then send it. I believe next week is the school holiday start already, right? Benny and the rest. All same on Benny. All same on next week holiday start already, right? Hello? Anyone answer me? Can answer me?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I thought suddenly I talked to who. Okay, so next week you will start already. I believe all the Set 4 students, you will have some homework for your history. You can use that as a homework, but on top of these 2, okay, Benny, the 8 mark and 12 mark one you done already, so no homework. But if you want to do other like TOV or LON, those past essay questions, or your school got give you homework, right? Right, Benny? So if you want, you can, Benny, is it possible that can you scan some of your school history question to me? Do you have some history question?
Yeah.
I'll
try.
Then if you do buy your assessment book in your school, then you can use a scan and send it to me. Or if you are interested to do question like this, I love it. I enjoy marking the paper. Actually, I want to mark on my laptop. And now I print out your essay and mark it. So you see the bit different. Okay. So thank you so much. I will wait for your question coming in, Benny, from your school. So the rest of you, for the Set 3 students, I believe your school will give you some homework also for history, so you can send it to me. On top of that, of course, answer the 2 questions. Next lesson, I want to fully complete Stalin and the 8 marks question for the sheer luck of Stalin, that one. And then after that, I will be doing a small quiz test to see whether you understand the topic well. So to prepare for your mid-year for the Set 4 student. Set 3 student may not have history exam, but never mind, whatever it is, it's okay. Okay. So yes, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. I wait for your